Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of Just a Girly Talkin' Wrestling. My name is Sahar. I created this podcast it's always been in the back of my mind to create this podcast. It's something that I've always loved. I've been in love with professional wrestling, I want to say, since the moment I was born. Uh, it's a thing that's just always, I don't know, I felt connected to. It's hard to explain, but also not really that hard actually, because I don't know, maybe my whole life I felt like it was chaotic. Like my life was chaotic. And wrestling was just the one constant I always had. No matter what was going on in my life, no matter where I was in my life, I had professional wrestling. Like when I was like my most depressed in life, I had professional wrestling. And it made me, you have an escape for those 2, 3, however many hours you had it for that you were watching. That was your escape. You got lost in that world. And I think that's what most non wrestling fans, like, they don't understand that. They don't understand the connection we have, the connections we have with the wrestlers, the stories, like how much we invest our time. And yeah, I created this podcast because I want other people to join in and feel a part of that community and our community. No matter, I know our community can be very toxic sometimes, very toxic, but I just want people to listen and enjoy and have a good time, and hopefully this is an escape for them, all 2 of my listeners. This could be your escape. I'm gonna just warn you now though, this podcast will be probably triggering for some wrestling fans because I have the worst takes. Apparently, according to some people on Twitter, I have the worst wrestling takes, so I apologize in advance, guys. I'm just going to be honest and give my honest opinions about professional wrestling and what's going on WWE, AEW, whatever, AAA, New Japan, all that stuff, like Ring of Honor. I'm going to just talk about wrestling, and I'm glad you guys are all joining in, all 2 of you are joining in for the ride, and I hope you guys really enjoy it, and I hope you have a good time listening to it as much as I'm having a good time making it. So this is going to be fun, guys. But yeah, let's just get started with episode 1. I wanted to just shoot the shit, basically. Talk a little bit of Bad Blood, introductions. I kind of already did that. I also have wrestling Twitter takes because wrestling Twitter is like a burning hellhole right now, which is hilarious to me. Me and Dave Meltzer having a bit back and forth on Twitter recently. The reaction I got from the back and forth with Dave Meltzer, a lot of misogynistic shit, lots of it. But yeah, it's been a wild ride. But yeah, I just want to get into just talking about what's going on in wrestling right now. We are coming off of Bad Blood right now after the most incredible CM Punk match in WWE. And probably, I don't want to say in his career, because he has had fucking phenomenal matches. Do I think it's Drew McIntyre's best match of his career? So far, yes. Again, controversial hot take. But I think this feud and this build and the match, I think it's been incredible for Drew. I think Drew's coming off, when he was champion, this was like COVID. Not a lot of people cared. We were still going through the Vince era of it all, where it was a little not taken seriously. There wasn't really great feuds or matches building, like leading up to it. So Drew really needed this push in the sense of, like, we all knew he was a star, right? Like, we all know what he's capable of and what he can do. And I think this feud with Punk just really solidified him and has made him incredible. We have seen the talent of Drew McIntyre, and it's amazing. And we saw that Phil can shut people the fuck up and stop calling him or washed. Well, they call him washed, basically. That's the running thing on Twitter is, oh, CM Punk's just like a washed guy, like he's so old, like his matches are like mid. No, I think he shut everybody the fuck up with that Hell in a Cell. Don't ever call that man washed again. have some respect for the greatest wrestler ever. This is one of my hot takes that people yell at me on Twitter about. I'm going to just say this now. I'm a CM Punk girly. I've been a CM Punk girly since I was 13 years old. I have been desperately and hopelessly in love with that man for so long. And to see him back on my TV has been very exciting and rewarding and just amazing to see. I was happy when he was in AEW, and then when everything went down the way it did, it was disappointing to say the least. It felt like I was defending my life on Twitter during the AEW days. Those were rough days to be a CM Punk fan because, I mean, everyone just went after him and everyone rightfully, got proven wrong that he wasn't the problem. Again, another hot take that people disagree with me a lot on, that he's a cancer. And I personally think it was a company, certain people in a company that were dead set on not wanting him there. And listen, no matter what anyone says, I heard that press conference. I've heard interviews. I have, that CM Punk has done. I've read stuff that Kenny Omega said, that the Bucks haven't really talked about it, or Hangman haven't talked about it, but you just read shit online, right? And how people think that CM Punk was still the problem. Yeah, it was a huge brain rot watching people, you know, blame Punk for like he's the cancer of the AEW locker room. I mean, like I said, as a CM Punk girly, I was fighting for my life. I was fighting for my life on Twitter because people always love to bring up, the presser. Was the presser the most sound decision that he's ever made? Absolutely not. But do I blame him? Absolutely not. Imagine telling your boss over and over again something, and no one, not even your boss, but like everyone around you who you work with, who you deal with, and say, like, hey, you got to fix this or else I'm going to fix it for you. And you're not going to like it. He's given multiple people multiple warnings. No one took him seriously and ended up, the situation that we were in. We all know what happened after. Well, we don't really know, but we speculate. But yeah, like CM Punk in WWE just feels right. Without Vince, it feels like this was the right call. It feels like this is where he was supposed to be the whole time. I mean, and look at what he's created his first year. He's created such an incredible rivalry with Drew McIntyre that will go down in the history books as something great. You know, it was the main event of the night, in my opinion. I could give, I want to say, two shits less about the Bloodline feud, old Bloodline versus new Bloodline. I got it. I get it. Rock is now involved. Great. Fantastic. I wish them the best. Solo Sokoa needs to go back to NXT because he is god awful on the microphone. I think the only time I was like, oh wow, like at a Solo Sokoa, not like maybe promo, was with Paul Heyman in Madison Square Garden, and that has a lot to do with Paul carrying that whole promo was a thing of beauty. I definitely think that Jacob Fatu is the star of the Bloodline. I think he needs to, venture out on his own ASAP. I think he is beyond talented, beyond intimidating, and just beyond. But the Divas division has been very interesting. Has it been great? No. Has it been better? Yes. I think the Nia Jax and the Bailey, I mean, that match was a hard watch at Bad Blood. Nia's just, oh, this sounds like so fucked up. Like I'm just like nitpicking, but she's just not good. That I don't know what it is. Like she needs to go back to school because Bailey was trying her goddamn hardest to carry that match. It was like watching Britt and Mercedes. It was like that level of bad for me. And it was just Bailey carrying that match. So I hope Nia gets better. Her promos still make me cringe. They're that stupid, you know, bratty heel, but they're just not good. It's not believable. It's kind of gimmicky and bullshitty. And some people can pull that off. I mean, case in point, Chelsea Green is fucking amazing. I think Chelsea Green is carrying the SmackDown division. Underrated as hell. Extremely talented. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. Like, she's just that fucking good. She takes bumps like nobody's business. She's just a workhorse, and I can't wait to see her to be. I can't wait to see her be a champion, and I hope that time is soon because I don't know how much longer I can take of Nia Jax's champion and the Tiffy story. I definitely want to see Naomi have a title. I mean, long overdue. To see her come back, leave, and have the momentum she had when she left, making a name for herself in TNA and coming back and kind of just falling back into the same place she was before is just really disappointing to see. Like I said, she is so talented and so incredible. She's fucking athletic as all hell. So I would love to see that. I think SmackDown is absolutely crushing it with Andrade. Andrade is also another talented, talented wrestler that AEW fumbled per usual. I'm sorry, that's my little AEW shade for the day. I just really hate AEW, like company wise. Wrestler wise, they have the most talented wrestlers and put on phenomenal matches. I just have my. We'll dive into it later. But yes, Andrade is so talented, and I think Carmelo Hayes is super talented, and I think those two together built great matches. I just think they weren't executed story wise for people to be involved or care. I personally think they've been amazing, and really fun to watch. So for the first time ever, like I know logistically SmackDown's the B show, right? Like we all know that SmackDown doesn't really have much, but then the Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes of it all has been. I thought the way they executed everything with Bad Blood perfectly. It blurred lines for non-wrestling fans. I think it was incredible to do it not on TV, not on the pay-per-view, to have fans recording it and make it like they gave it to the hands of the fans basically to make this go big and to make this a story, and the fans fucking delivered, man. I thought it was incredibly well executed, and I think it's been long overdue for a Sammy heel turn. And Sammy, oh my god, a Kevin heel turn. I would love a Sammy heel turn though too, because Sammy right now with Gunther, looking forward to that match like crazy because I'm obsessed with Gunther as well. I think Gunther's so incredible, like a fucking like pure wrestler, and also like the vicious on the microphone for English being his second language. When he told Bret Hart that Goldberg was his favorite wrestler, I gasped audibly. I gasped, and I was like, he actually said that, and it made me hate him because I love Bret Hart as well. Like, how dare you? And then I got my little bit of vindication at Bad Blood when Gunther said to Goldberg, I got 3 minutes for you, which was just chef's kisses because we all know Goldberg's capabilities in the ring. They're shit. But anyway, Bad Blood also had Rhea Ripley. Oh, how can I forget? Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Dom in a shark cage. I need this storyline to be over. I need it for my soul to rest because I can't do this anymore. Liv, you got the man. You got him. Cool. Rhea, move on, girl. Focus on other people. Focus on other things because I can't have this. It was cute and funny for a while, but now, like, it doesn't have the same effect as a Drew and Punk match in the sense of Drew and Punk started at the Rumble last year. Like that's how long ago it kind of started. And then like a month after the Rumble or 2 months, and then WrestleMania is really where it started. That feud carried for months and months and months. No feud can do that. No feud can have that much longevity. And I think that's what they were trying to do with Liv, Dom, and Rhea. And again, it was great at first. Now I'm tired. Let's take a rest. Let's take a breather. Dom is dirty Dom, still sexy as hell. Sorry. For my Dom girlies, you understand. We love a dirty Dom situation, but let's just end it. We get it. Move on, please, for the love of God. Also, who else was Damian Priest and Finn Balor? Judgment Day versus, well, old Judgment Day versus Street Trash, I guess. I need this feud to end as well. Unless you're gonna make Finn into the demon, I don't care. I don't care. We're over it. We're all over it. I think I speak for the collective. Nothing new has happened, nothing new or exciting. Please move on. Again, for the love of God, I don't know who I need to pray to, who I need to talk to, what deity to speak to, but please end this feud. But Triple H, I'm putting this in the universe. If you are on acid and you decide to listen to random wrestling podcasts, please end that feud because Damian Priest needs to move on. We pushed him. He's pushed. We love him. All right. Just like how you push Bronson Reed and then he got COVID, poor. But that push he got with the Seth situation, that was incredible. Braun Strowman versus Bronson was also incredible. Two strong men, even though it looked like Braun Strowman literally his knees gave out and he was struggling for his life. But that was great. Let's just move on. Okay, you don't need to do this. We get it. We get the Terror Twins. We get it. Let's all just move on. Unless I see some amazing shit coming from Finn, because again, another guy who's so incredibly talented that you don't see much of, and I wish you did. So yeah, the Drew and Punk feud finally being over is a bitter pill to swallow because it was so good, but it's time for them to both move on. I wonder who would be next for Drew. I hope someone big. I hope someone great. And I hope his push and the momentum behind him keeps going because he deserves it. We all know Punk laid out that challenge for Gunther. So let's hope for that because I would love a Gunther CM Punk match. And we all know CM Punk's chest is going to be bloodied as hell. It's going to be beautiful crimson. I, you know, I think we all know where the Punk thing is leading to for the rest of the year, which is inevitably the Seth feud. That was supposed to be the original plan for WrestleMania 40, and then we know now WrestleMania 41 will be Seth and Punk. Like you can't not have that match. It's too symbolic not to. Definitely main event spot. CM Punk finally getting his main event at WrestleMania. Well deserved, I should say. And also Seth Rollins. I wonder what's going on with him, like who he's gonna face. Maybe we'll get Seth and Punk a little back and forth maybe during the Rumble. I don't see Seth facing anyone for the title right now. So we can, you know, we can see how that goes. I think that's pretty much covering it right now with WWE. I mean, tonight, while I'm recording this, it's Friday. It's going to be Friday Night SmackDown. I'm sure they're going to bring up the Kevin Owens video and they're going to be handling the situation. Hopefully, this also gives us maybe a possible Randy heel turn. I love a heel Randy Orton. I think Randy Orton at his best is as a heel. So hopefully we get that. What else do we have going on besides SmackDown? I mean, AEW, they're there. No, I'm being catty, but AEW has been producing like great matches. I mean, insane matches. This is my butt. But they will build like the great dream matches and then just not know what the fuck to do after. It's super hard to watch. They will do long-term storytelling, which has been great, like Mariah May and Tony Storm. I thought that was a thing of beauty. Hangman and Swerve, another thing of beauty. But now you're just like looking and you're just like, oh, well, these people are now just there. Cool. They're not really doing anything of importance or significance. So it's kind of sad to see. That's my biggest issue with AEW. You have 27 writers, but you're giving me the same story. I just don't get it. You give me the same people. You're giving me, please, for the love of God, you're giving me Chris Jericho. Why? Why? The Trump supporting conspiracy theorist fucking freak that is Chris Jericho, that is a TV killer, that I wish would just leave. Just know when you're not wanted anymore. You were the most talented wrestler at a time. At a point, you were great. I understand now you're leaning in towards the learning tree shtick, that everyone hates you, and you're like, oh, I love it. We don't. We don't. It's not a joke. Like, we just don't want you on our TV screens. That's just what it is. Just go away in obscurity. Go with your wife, go find QAnon, whatever the fuck you guys believe in, and just leave wrestling. Let the young kids do their thing. They know what they're doing. They're in good hands. I mean, not in the greatest hands, but they're in hands, okay? Again, like I said, my biggest problem with AEW is not the wrestlers or the matches. It's that it just loses, it makes you lose the momentum behind the wrestler. They'll give you the dream match, and then once that dream match is over, you're kind of like, what the fuck is next? Then you'll get someone who's kind of like a next feud that just doesn't top it, that doesn't match that energy, that's just kind of boring. Again, fucked up. I know. I'm sorry. I still watch AEW. I think AEW is great. I think the biggest decline in viewership is because it's, you see through it. You see through it. People hate, there's a guy on Twitter that I follow. We follow each other actually. And we've spoken about, not, we haven't spoken actually. I take that back. But I have seen his interactions where he talks about the low ratings, and he does say like the feeling is restored after these matches, but you have to understand, like, other fans, how they see through it. You can't just create dream matches just to get viewers. It's very WCW like. I get it. People get so mad at this comparison. They really do. And I understand why, because AEW, WCW failed ultimately, and it wasn't successful anymore. At a time, it was extremely successful, more successful than the WWE. I can say the same thing about AEW. At a time, AEW was like salvation for professional wrestlers. Like in 2019, 2020, like AEW saved professional wrestling. Fans who were leaving because of the shit that was going on in WWE came back because of AEW. That is just a fact. Um so but after a while, the CM Punk thing didn't help them. It really took the blindfold off for a lot of fans, because it was like, you're allowing this shit to go down. Like, you heard of backstage fights. I think what, Andrade and Sammy Guevara got into a fight. Like, you heard rumblings, right? But you never really knew anything. And I think the CM Punk thing and then the Hangman thing of it all, like, that pulled the wool, like, that took my blindfold off, because I was like, shit. So you just went on national television and screwed someone over completely because you wanted to defend a friend that not one single fan gives a fuck about. You ruined that TV time to take a shot and be vindictive. Oh, okay. And Tony, you're allowing this? You're letting this you're letting this happen again and again? Okay, cool. And I think more situations, like some matches, were hard watches, you know. Again, it is very WCW like. You're getting wrestlers from WWE. You need them to kind of boost like the shock value of it all. Mercedes coming was a big deal, but then it wasn't. Like, that's not good. Mercedes should have been like the hottest topic for at least a month. At least a month. And people got over it within a week. And that's because you had her you not wrestle when she first got there, talk on the microphone, which I personally feel is her weakest, like her weakest point. Incredible wrestler, horrible on a microphone unless she's being authentically herself. And then to make her a baby face was stupid, because she should have been a heel all along. And then also, her, besides Stephanie Vakir, like, who else did she wrestle that was a good match? I'm not trying to knock anybody. I'm not saying Mercedes is a bad wrestler at all because she's fucking insane. I'm saying the people that she chose to wrestle were not that great. The Britt Baker of it all, like that match was a hard watch. After that, like Mercedes matches were not good. They just weren't. They weren't entertaining. They weren't fun. Her promos weren't good. Like I said, it's just a hard watch. So I'm wishing the best for AEW. I really am because I think AEW is really important for the wrestling business. I really do. Because without AEW, a lot of these wrestlers would probably never wrestle. They would probably have given up or, but still been on the indie scene, maybe, maybe work their way, but a lot of wrestlers probably wouldn't have. So AEW, I feel like AEW has to exist for the sake of professional wrestling. Even though I think how they run their business is dumb as shit, doesn't mean anything. AEW will always be around. For the people who wish for it to go away, it won't go away unless Tony Khan wants it to go away. That man is a billionaire. He can keep AEW open for as long as he wants. As long as he wants. So stop wishing for it to go away, because then your favorite wrestlers wouldn't be able to showcase their talents. Stop with the tribalistic bullshit of AEW versus WWE. Care about the fucking wrestlers, man. Care about what they're doing for us in the ring. Do I think some matches are bad? Fuck yeah, I do. Hell yeah. Do I think a lot of matches in WWE are bad? Yeah. Do I think a lot of matches in AEW are bad? Yeah. Yes, I do. Like, it's okay to have that like to think that way. I just think, you know, I just think the tribalist, like the tribalism, I mean, it's like just so toxic. Like wrestling Twitter is a cesspool. I fucking hate it, but I'm on it constantly, which is very hypocritical on my part. But like I said, it's just a cesspool of hate. And no matter what anyone does, like there's like pages dedicated to just bashing WWE and any wrestler who makes a mistake. And there are pages of people bashing AEW, making fun of them. It's a hard place to be. You talk shit about CM Punk though, I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm gonna go after you. Or I'm gonna comment something and just call you out for your hypocrisy. Like I did with Dave Meltzer, who then proceeded to call me out on Twitter because, well, technically I called him out first. And people on my timeline absolutely lost it because they were just being so mean to me because I went against their beloved Meltzer and also because people just love to fucking hate Punk. It's the most bizarre thing. People are obsessed with that man when they claim they hate him. It's the most bizarre. I To me personally, like I think it's insane. I actually think it's insane. But Dave Meltzer wrote on a tweet that said, someone wrote, Punk versus McIntyre was a better sell match and had a better story leading into it than Cody versus Rollins. Which, oh my God. Punk versus McIntyre was a better sell match and had a better story leading into than Cody versus Rollins, which got 5 stars. There's no reason why it shouldn't be given the same or even higher star rating. This is what someone wrote to him. And he wrote, strongly disagree. Drama and compellingness much stronger in Rhodes versus Rollins, which I don't believe whatsoever. I think the Drew and Punk story had such a rawness and compellingness and drama because of Survivor Series and the drama leading into that. And when Punk came back, how Drew stormed off, like, and them really not liking each other. So then he goes on to say, versus Rollins plus had a realness and intensity about it. Agree, better story leading into Punk versus McIntyre, but I'm not rating story leading into it. So I read that and I was like, okay, so you're just an asshole. And I wrote, so do people still believe that Dave is completely unbiased when it comes to anything related to CM Punk? What I was meaning by that was anything CM Punk does, Dave Meltzer will give it a compliment, but then a but. You know, it'll always be, yeah, it was a great match, but he rolled out too much. But the finishers, like when they hit the finishers, they shouldn't have done this, they shouldn't have done that. He doesn't do that with certain wrestlers. wrestlers like he should do that too. I mean, he eats Will Ospreay's dingleberries, which Will Ospreay's incredibly talented, but Jesus Christ, like relax. So then Meltzer then wrote me back and he said, given I won't be rating the match until Friday, you commenting on such is kind of weird, don't you think? Which, by the way, was the dumbest comment because I wasn't commenting on the star rating because I was like legit I was commenting on him saying that Punk and Drew weren't as compelling as Rhodes and Rollins. Like genuinely. That's what I was commenting on. And I said, I heard your comments on the video. They posted a video on their YouTube channel talking about, oh, it wasn't good, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's actually not true. They didn't say that. They complimented the match, but then gave it a backhanded compliment. So there was that. So I saw that video and I said, I heard your comments on the video, guys. You guys, on the video you guys posted last night. How is that weird? I heard your take. And then he writes back, he goes, because you are literally complaining about a star rating that hasn't even been reported and won't be for several days. And I was like, am I talking to someone who's stupid? I said, I'm not complaining about the rating. I'm stating my opinion on your tweet comparing Rhodes versus Rollins and you saying they had a realness intensity about it, but seemingly dismissing the Drew and Punk realness and intensity. So I found that's what I was commenting on, but he decided to, because people are so obsessed with this band's star ratings. Why do you care? Why do you care? Who cares what the fuck Dave Meltzer thinks of a match? You should care what you think of a match. I don't give a fuck if it was a 1-star rating. If it meant something to me, it meant something to me. Stop giving this man credibility. Any wrestler, like, you guys gotta stop taking, like, wrestling star ratings to such fucking account. Enjoy wrestling. He ended up giving the match a 5-star, but again, who legitimately cares? I genuinely don't know. Well, some people care. Like a lot of CM Punk fan accounts that I follow were like obsessed with the fact that, CM Punk got a 5-star match. Well deserved, sure, cool. But why should you care what Dave Meltzer thinks? Why? It's dumb. Don't do that, please. I mean, I follow a lot of wrestling, not dirt sheets, but wrestling websites that I really like Wrestle Pierce is one of the great ones. I know Fightful. I'm not a fan, but people just fucking attack everyone for no reason. But yeah, so that's kind of been my take lately. This has just been episode 1, and also, just want to give a shout out to all my WWE Discord girlies. This wonderful girl, I think her name is Samantha, she on Twitter wrote to, well, she didn't write, but I want to just thank her. Her name is Samantha. Made a video asking like how would people feel on TikTok. She said how would people feel for all the girls who love professional wrestling to be in a Discord, and I jumped at that chance because I've never had female friends or even male friends who love wrestling as much as I did, and I got welcomed into this Discord with open arms, and it's been incredible. And honestly, one of the main motivators for me doing this podcast, because these girls are so supportive and it's such a loving community, and like you don't feel the toxicity of it. Like it's just girls who love professional wrestling, who talk about it, who kind of, sexualize Dom a little bit, because me and a couple girls are Dom girlies in there, but yes. So I want to thank those girls on that Discord because they gave me the confidence to do this. So shout out to the Discord girlies. But yeah, this was the first episode. I will be back next week, probably around the same time, Friday, if anyone cares or is interested. And I can't wait to do this. And I'm sorry if my microphone's a little weird. This is my first time podcasting, like ever. So my microphone might be a little weird and staticky, and I apologize. I will get it together by the next episode. But like I said, just thank you for whoever listens. If it's one person, 2 people, however many, thank you for listening to my ramblings about professional wrestling. And I hope you guys come back and listen to it some more. All right, guys. Bye.